Time is Never Found Again. Or is it? By blahblahblah1703. Chapter 19. I wasn't wrong. We were relatively safe for the night. Come morning, though, that was another story. At some point, both Peter and I fell asleep. I don't know if it was mine or his watch that was messed up, but either way I woke up to a wave of heat and the sound of rushing animals. The fire. How is this happening again? Are they that desperate to make fun of the girl on fire tag I've been stuck with? I shake Peter awake, and as soon as he sees the fire, he doesn't even untie the rope that keeps us strapped, just cutting it with a knife gripped in his hand, and we pull on our packs. I pour half my water bottle over the hat and hold it over my face, stopping the worst of the smoke from being inhaled. Peter sees what I am doing, wrenches the bottle out of my hand, douses his shirt, and pulling the bottle up to cover his nose. We get down the tree fast enough, and Peter just bundles up the sleeping bag, and then we sprint. I know exactly where they want us to go, so I yell out to Peter, "Go to a pond! Or even the lake!" I tell him loudly over the crackling of the fire and the sound of falling trees. He doesn't give any indication he heard me other than changing his course slightly. I follow him with ease, my breathing heavier as it should be, but that's due to the smoke, not the exertion. Once we get closer to the pond, though, I notice something. There are no fireballs being shot at us. The fire is also not as strong as it was the last time around. I look around in confusion, slowing down slightly during my scan. The fire is moving in the opposite direction. Yes, it is pushing us too, likely just for entertainment, but this isn't specifically for us. We're just in addition to the target. I quickly get Peter's attention and we change course once again. We are no longer going straight for the lake by the cornucopia, and instead we are headed towards it, but instead going around to come from the other direction, hiding our arrival from the targets, likely the careers and another unfortunate tribute. We take our time, and by the time we get to the lake, we can see the entire career pack staring up at a tree. Peter comes up to my back, wrapping his arms around me from behind for comfort. This scene too familiar to the both of us for comfort. That's when I see it. Bushy brown hair and a small rustle of the leaves. Rue. I pull away from Peter abruptly as I try to see it again. And I know from his look of confusion that he didn't see it. "Peter," I whisper, "it's Rue." Peter's face hardens immediately. No longer the soft baker's boy. This is the Hunger Games victor and war-torn veteran that Peter hides behind his sweet disposition and natural empathy. He gives me a sharp nod, and we are on the move. We move in towards the confrontation, hearing them tease Rue and trying to goad one another into climbing to go and get her. Glimmer doesn't have the bow this time. Instead, she has a sharp sword, so at least that's an avenue that is close to them, even if they weren't good with it in the first place. We slow down once we get closer, not wanting to alert them to our presence. I see a very large tree next to the one Rue is in, the same one I was stuck in that night. I gesture Peter towards it, and we climb and climb and climb, until we get high enough that we can't be seen from the career's current position, but Rue will be able to see us if she is looking. I can see her huddled against the trunk, trying to stay as small as possible, her eyes closed tightly, tears streaking down her face, her nose running from her tears. My heart clenches painfully. "Oh, Rue." Peter looks at me and then whistles a tune. Not Rue's, and it sounds similar to what a bird should do. But I know, and he knows, Rue will look around for the sound. Sure enough, they are correct. Two big brown eyes open slowly, still leaking tears. She catches sight of us, and her eyes go even wider at the sight. Obviously surprised, but not necessarily scared. To be fair, it would be hard to be scared of us when there are 5 bloodthirsty teenagers waiting for you at the bottom of the tree. She looks at us with her head cocked. I shoot her a concerned look and point upwards. She cranes her neck to see, but I can see she doesn't see what I'm pointing at. She moves to the next branch and can see through the leaves now. The giant hanging nest of tracker jackers, subdued by the smoke and hibernating. For now. She looks at me now, with a twinkle in her eye. She nods, but I can tell she doesn't have anything to cut it down with. I look at Peter, who is watching the interplay with concern, but he also has a small smile. I can tell he is watching our interaction and is reminded of Prim. I give him a small smile back and he nods, already reaching into his vest and pulling out a serrated knife. This is a considerable distance, and we have to make sure the cameras don't see the knife. But I know that he can get the knife stuck into the tree high enough for Rue to get it and cut down the branch. He holds the knife up to show Rue what it is, and she cocks her head to the side once again, confused as to how that will help her. I mime throwing it and her eyes widen, looking down at the careers who have decided to wait it out, on Marina's suggestion, this time instead of Peter's. They spread apart, going to find wood or something. I'm not sure. She looks back at us and nods her head, moving to the other side of the tree to make sure she doesn't get hit, just in case. Smart girl. Peter looks at me and nods, gaining a nod in return before he looks at the careers. Cato and Marvel are filling their water bottles a little ways away from the lake. Clove is currently throwing knives at the tree, facing away from the tree. Glimmer is picking at her nails, completely unconcerned with the happenings around her. The only one paying attention to the tree is Marina, her eyes narrowed in thought and concentration. Peter and I share a look. We are going to have to wait for her attention to be drawn away, or we have to chance it. Neither Peter and I are prepared for the latter, so we decide to wait. Eventually Marina loses interest in the tree, content that Rue cannot jump to the another one, or get down, without alerting them, and goes to collect some nearby firewood. Peter doesn't miss his chance. He throws the knife hard. It flies straight and true, embedding itself deep into the trunk. Rue peeks her head around the tree, obviously hearing the thunk. I check on the ground, and the only thing I see that is changed is Cato and Marvel coming back from their lake trip. Rue must agree, and moves back towards the knife, attempting to wriggle it out of the tree. It was stuck in there pretty good, but she should have plenty of time before sundown and the anthem to get it out. Peter and I set up camp in the tree, eating a quick dinner of rabbits and berries, along with the rest of the clover, dandelions and wild onion. We have plenty of water, so we aren't worried about that. When the anthem comes on eventually, Peter and I are already tucked into the sleeping bag, the hat firmly stuck onto his head. I don't look up at the empty sky. No deaths today. Instead, I look across the way. Rue did eventually get the knife out, and she is sawing the branch back and forth, back and forth. She has to stop before it's over, and her obviously discouraged face almost breaks my heart. She shoots a quick look towards us and waves. I wave back, and we communicate through mostly understood hand gestures. She is going to go and sleep in the tree until morning, when she can finish cutting it down. I give her confirmation for her plan, and settle back against a sleeping Peter. Eventually I wake Peter in order to switch watch shifts, and I cuddle up to him, and I can't help but feel safe, even with a horde of crazy bees across the way, and a pack of killers sleeping right below us. I drift off to sleep, warm and comfortable. I only wake up a few hours later to the sounds of screams and buzzing. Peter grabs my waist, stopping us from falling out of the tree, or alerting the tracker-jackers to our close position. Instead, we sit almost completely still and watch the chaos. Marina and Glimmer once again flailing on the ground, trying to slap off the homing bees. Everyone else is running straight for the pond, hoping to lose the bees there. Rue stumbles down the tree, not moving nearly as fast or as easily down through the trees as she usually would. And when she gets to the bottom, she almost completely passes out. Peter and I share a look, quickly getting our stuff together and racing down the tree. I rush towards Rue, seeing a giant swollen sting on her left hand, but no other stings or bumps. Hopefully that's the only sting she got. I quickly pull out the stinger and grimace as I start to squeeze the bump, trying to get all the venom out before it can get into her bloodstream fully. Peter gently pushes my hands away and takes over. A good idea if I have anything to say about it. About 10 drops of bright green liquid pour out of the wound. I quickly wipe it away, and Peter gently picks Rue up in his arms. I hear someone stumbling through the woods, and Peter must as well because we are both rushing away at the same moment. Long gone before anyone can stumble in and see us. Peter and I ran for a good while before we just shared a look and nodded, immediately adjusting our direction to head towards the river, making our way towards a familiar cave. Somewhere we both know is safe while Rue is incapacitated. It takes another hour, An hour of Rue whimpering and shattering both our hearts with her obvious distress. Peter and I are visibly anguished by the time we reach the cave. I point it out to him, and he nods. Both of us could make our way here with our eyes closed, and we knew exactly where it was. However, we needed to at least attempt to be looking for somewhere, not just head straight towards it. Eventually we get in, and I sit on the ground, gesturing for Peter to sit Rue in my lap. He sets her down gently, and I wrap her up in my arms, shushing her gently, trying to ease her through the worst of it. Peter rips off his packs, and I take mine off too, handing them to him, trusting him to get us set up while I help Rue. He pulls out multiple things. Firstly, he lays down the tarp, protecting the blanket that is laid down next from the dirt on the floor of the cave. He lays down the sleeping bag as well, completely unzipping it and laying it out like another blanket. I can't move Rue and myself to the blankets without putting her down, so I nod to head towards Rue for Peter to take her, but instead he reaches down and lifts both of us. Together we can't weigh more than 200 pounds. We are probably considerably less, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he did it. He places us down gently on top of the pile of blankets, and I cradle Rue. Peter hands me a water bottle, and I take a few sips before I try to coax some into Rue. It takes a while, but eventually, in between one of her hallucinations, I get a little bit into her, enough to satisfy me for the moment. Peter sets up our packs in the corner, before he sits right beside us. He pushes Rue's hair off her sweaty forehead, and then he sighs as he puts his arm behind me, allowing me to lean against it. I lay my head on his shoulder, the adrenaline of what just happened seeping out of my body. Making me tired, but knowing I need to do one more thing before I can collapse. "Peter," I whisper. He looks at me from his place by my side. "I need to go and collect some things to help Rue." I tell him, "Okay, I'll keep watch of her. Please be careful. The careers might be incapacitated from their stings, but there are others around too," he tells me seriously. I don't give him an answer. I just kiss his cheek and pass him Rue, watching him cradle her in his arms. I grab my bow, my quiver still on my back, and I pretty much have everything out of my hip bag, hoping it will be enough to get the tracker-jacker leaves to fill it. I give them one last glance as I slip out of the cave. Seeing Peter take care of Rue almost takes my breath away. How protective and loving and caring he is towards the small girl. I shake my head to rid it of the thought. That's not what I need to focus on. I need to remember where Rue and I found the tracker-jacker leaves. It takes me longer than I thought it would. I had to hunt for over 2 hours before I found them. They aren't the same ones Rue and I found the last time. These are much further out, but I'm just grateful that I could find them. Thankfully, while I was out, I was able to shoot another gooseling and gather some more mushrooms. I even found some edible roots that Rue showed me the last time. I built a fire all the way out there, not wanting to lead anyone to our camp. Quickly defeathering and gutting the gooseling, charring the mushrooms, and roasting the roots and the bird, before completely stomping out the flames and covering the ashes. I haul my load and prepare to head back towards the cave, ready for the 2-hour hike back. Peter will definitely be worried when I get back, but when I show him what I've got, I think he'll understand and be fine. It isn't until a few minutes later when I hear it. A branch cracks. I whip my head around, trying to find where the sound came from, but I don't see anyone. My focus is now total. There is someone here. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, Rue. Sweet girl. Talk about someone else who doesn't deserve this. Ugh, even if I don't believe any of them do. Those careers. What do they put those kids through to get them into that mindset? Ugh. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.